Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honoured to assume the office of President of the Regions4 Sustainable Development Network on behalf of Scotland. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to speak to you all about what we will achieve together over the next 2 years. But first, allow me to convey my sincere regret that I cannot join you in person today. I assure you that I would much prefer to be addressing you from Rio, but the upcoming United Kingdom general election requires me to be here on the campaign trail. Maintaining healthy democracies is deeply entwined with maintaining the health of our planet for future generations. Around half of the adult population of the world will have the opportunity to take part in elections this year. This gives us an opportunity to put sustainability at the forefront of global politics. I've made tackling the climate emergency one of the 4 priorities of my government for that very reason. So please know that though I can't be with you in person today, Scotland is absolutely committed to representing the interests of the entire network and takes this presidency very seriously indeed. Now, allow me to thank our friends from the Basque Country and from the state of Jalisco for their service as President and Vice President for the Americas, and our friends from Lombardy and Rabat Saleh Kenitra as European and African Vice Presidents. Thank you for your continued commitment to the network. And my heartfelt thanks and congratulations also go out to our friends from Rio de Janeiro on taking up the Vice Presidency. Thank you for your generous hosting of this General Assembly in spectacular Rio. As we gather this Assembly with a shared purpose to sign a document that binds us in our commitment to action, I'm reminded that it was on this day, the 26th of June, some 79 years ago, that the UN Charter was signed. The Charter contains many important commitments, including the use of international cooperation to solve international problems. That is what we are here to do today. Because while it is UN member states that sign charters and treaties, we nations and regions must take action to uphold and advance them. So it is within our power to make a huge difference to the climate, to biodiversity and nature loss, and to sustainable development. And this year, we will influence global decision making through our input into the UN Summit of the Future, the Biodiversity COP16, and of course COP29. You will hear from Secretary of State Rossi shortly, who will provide you with reflections on our flagship positioning paper, the Rio Declaration. This declaration defines our priorities as a network. I won't repeat them all, but we must continue to advocate for increased recognition of regional governments and for our permanent official representation in high-level decision-making forums. We must inspire and empower subnational governments to play an increasing role in the protection of biodiversity. And by working together, we must secure a future in which principles of inclusivity and equity guide us towards meeting the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. We all know and recognise the dangers with which we are grappling. The COP28 global stocktake put the planet on a trajectory towards 2.8 degrees of warming by the end of the century. Meanwhile, the destruction of Earth's natural ecosystems increases our vulnerabilities to climate breakdown. And social inequalities continue to define one's risk to the effects of climate change. We must look for solutions that cut across all these issues, and we must draw on our shared values of diversity, collaboration, solidarity, accountability and leadership. That brings me to Scotland's presidency of the network. Allow me to share some of the key goals for my presidency of Regions4. I hope they will resonate with your own aims, and I look forward to receiving your feedback from my Scottish Government colleagues in the room with you today. Scotland has sought to play a bridging role in recent years, championing the ambitions and priorities of the Global South, and will continue to do so in this role as part of our commitment to our shared values. Scotland has a recent and proud history of providing clear leadership on climate justice, for example in becoming the first global North country to commit to funding to address global loss and damage at COP26. We hope to use this presidency to continue that leadership and to continue our focus on climate justice. We will advocate for all climate finance to be adequate and accessible to meet the needs of the most vulnerable and transparent in what it includes. And with your support as members, I will seek to maximise devolved and regional governments' roles and influence in international climate processes. Scotland is also running for re-election as the European co-chair of the Under 2 Coalition, and if successful by holding senior roles in both Regions 4 and Under 2, we will encourage and facilitate greater alignment between our two organisations for the benefit of all. Because when we combine our strengths and align our message, we make an even stronger case for our inclusion in international fora. A few more specific goals for my presidency include increasing the membership and reach of the network, presenting strong shared messaging at Biodiversity COP16 and COPs 29 and 30, and encouraging and supporting knowledge and sharing and capacity building within the network. I'm very grateful to the Regions Adapt team for arranging an expert review of Scotland's new National Adaptation Plan as an example of this. The feedback we received has made a valuable contribution to the development of this important national policy. This is just one example of how we know engagement with the network can benefit everyone who takes part. Most importantly, it is my commitment that you as members will feel your interests and priorities are being represented through Scotland's presidency. So friends and colleagues, I hope I've successfully conveyed the ambition that the Scottish Government and I hold for this term as President. Together, we must ensure that climate action does not fall by the wayside, for there can be no greater threat to global peace and prosperity than climate inaction. But know that when we come together and speak with one voice and act with one purpose, the world takes notice. So I look forward to following the results of proceedings closely and to working with you all over the next 2 years and beyond.